Alright, here's a video tutorial for texturing the billiard balls that's found in your document texturing images. I forgot what I called the document, but it was one of them. Let's take a look. Hang on 1 second. It was called Textures Image Map. Okay? Alright, so as usual, I've set my project. I'm going to set my project to classwork. So it's going to be found under here. I've moved some of my files around, and we're going to set it to classwork. And I've already saved this scene into my scene folder in classwork. It's called balls_ash. And also all my source images are located in the source images folder. Okay. My laptop is working a little slow, so bear with me. I think it's about to hit the bucket, but we're gonna move on. All right. So here's the scene file. I'm going to first texture these 4 pool balls. Shift select all 4 of them at one time, and you can do that. Right click, and I'm going to assign favorite material. I'm going to choose the Phong material, and instead of placing a color, first I'm going to name it. I'm going to add an image file to it. Okay, so click on that checkered icon, hit File, and under image name I'm going to choose that one. Okay, you should see the image show up, but if you don't, you click on this checkered ball right here and the images should show up. At this point, we should take a look at our render settings. This scene has lights that's provided for you, so we need to do a couple of adjustments. On your tutorial, the notes was to have you change this to 320 to about 220. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. That tutorials were written a little older, so we can go ahead and change it. And because this has lights already set up, you want to open the render options and turn off default light. And also go to the My Software, change the quality to production quality, and you're all set. Okay, so if we render a frame, you can see that here's the billiard balls with the lights showing up. All right, in order to see the lights in your scene, click on this yellow ball right here, and also the balls right beside the blue one to enable shadows. All right, so what we're going to do next is to open up the Hypershade. We need to make some changes to the blend shader. And you are going to right click. See how my computer is acting? It's really strange. Alright, so double click on this to get to the settings. We're going to bump up the diffuse to 0.9. Translucent depth to 0, translucent focus to 0. Cosine, we're going to bump it down to 10. Keep the reflectivity to 0.5. But under reflected color, we want to place a reflection for it to reflect. So I'm going to click on this. And we are going to select the envelope ball. Next to the image icon, I'm going to select this again. This time we're going to select File. And you are going to choose the CV Sphere RGB right there. Okay? So we're going to right click Graph Network, and you can see that it's all piped in. Again, I'm having a little trouble with my laptop, so you don't see the shaders here. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to have to totally reboot this desktop in a few minutes. Alright, so you can see clearly on your screen that the balls are now reflecting the environment. Okay, you can go ahead and render a frame. And there you go. Alright, for the floor object, we're going to right click. I'm going to give it a blend material for some reflections. Double click on it in your Hypershade. I'm going to name it floor material. And select a file for it. The file that I'm going to select is called Hardwood Floor, I believe. Alright, there's two of them. You want to select the one in color. Okay? Now, so on your screen you can see clearly that the hardwood floor is applied to it. But to add some realism, we can add what we call a bump map. So double click on your shader again in the Hypershade, and you are going to go down to bump mapping right over there. Click on this icon, select a file, and this time we are going to load. So click on file 4. We are going to load the file name hardwood floor, but this time it's in a black and white picture. Alright. Instantly you should see some changes in your screen, but if not, you can go ahead and click a render button. And you can see that now the floor has some sort of a texture added to it, like it's a little bumpy. If you can't see it real good, we're going to go to the bump node, and I'm going to increase the bump depth to 5. Alright, hit enter. But this time I'm going to render a small portion so we don't have to wait for it. So click and drag a portion and click on this, which is the render region. And there should be a lot more depth in this. I'm not seeing too much changes, so I'm going to go for 20. And again, do that again. It's not giving me too much changes. Alright, let's change the render image to something larger and see if we see any changes. It could be my computer. Like I said, it's having some issues since yesterday. I'm going to change it to a HD. Right, I'm going to render it again. Hopefully you can see the bump texture a little more evident on the blend shader. It's also taking a little more time because it's an HD image. Right, I'm also going to go to the file option and change the filter type to off so it's not blurring. Go back to my bump node and changing the bump depth to 5 and rendering a small portion to see if there's any changes to it. I don't see any changes. Let's render a whole thing. It is obviously showing on my screen, but it's not rendering out. Interesting. You can see that the bump depth is definitely a lot more rough on here, but it is not showing up so much on my render view. It could be that my computer is having issue, but when you change the bump depth, you're going to see that it's going to change the amount of bumpiness on your texture. So I'm going to put it back to 1. Right? And that's all you have to do for the billiard ball. So when you finish, render an image. And again, make sure you save the image and send it in for your grade. Okay?